Round 7 marked the midpoint of the ANZ Championship, and it was the Queensland Firebirds first up against the West Coast Fever in Brisbane. The second match of the Aussie Sunday doubleheader saw the Melbourne Vixens take on the Central Pulse in Melbourne, and the last game on Sunday had the Northern Mystics at home against the Tactics. Monday night netball passed off in Invercargill with the Southern Steel taking on the New South Wales Swifts. And in the final match of the round, the top-of-the-table Adelaide Thunderbirds hosted the defending champions Waikato Bay of Plenty Magic in the City of Churches. So let's catch up on all the action. The Queensland Firebirds hosted the Fever in Brisbane, with both sides looking for a win after round 6 losses. It was a close but high-scoring opening half, with the visitors holding sway by 1 goal at quarter time. But it was stalemate at the half, with scores tied at 30-all after the Firebirds claimed the second quarter 16-15. The Firebirds upped the ante in the third quarter, with Romelda Aiken and Natalie Medhurst dominating in attack and their young midcourt finding their feet. The Fever were unable to contain their error rate in the third period, and the Firebirds punished them, taking the decisive third quarter 19-8 to set up the win. It was the Fever who fought back in the final quarter, but all the damage was done in the third, with the Firebirds outplaying their rivals from the West. The home side celebrated captain Laura Geitz's 100th match in style, claiming the match 63-54, their 5th win of the season.
Just so happy with how we came out in that second half. We look like a different team, and we had a few girls that have sat on the bench in the last few weeks and came on and had a stellar performance, so it just goes to show how much depth we have.
The Melbourne Vixens were back at home and hosted the Central Pulse, and with both sides in finals contention, this one promised to be a cracker. The opening quarter was a low-scoring affair, with both sides struggling for fluency on attack, and scores were level at 9-all at the first change. The second quarter was more of the same until halfway through the quarter, Sherelle McMahon was introduced by the home side. McMahon's impact was immediate, with the Vixens stifling the Pulse attack, winning the second quarter 12-7 to lead by 5 goals at the long break. The Vixens turned up the heat on the side from Wellington in the third period, and with space opening in their attack end, they shot 16 from 19 for the quarter, while restricting the Pulse to just 7. The visitors continued to struggle on attack in the final quarter, but the Vixens shifted into overdrive, running out 52-30.
The most pleasing thing for me, it's everybody on court. There's times throughout that game where the pressure from goal shooter right through to the end was fantastic, and for me, I love that, and I just like to see that was really pleasing as a coach. But then to actually be scoring and making the most of that defensive pressure was really pleasing towards the end of the game.
The Tactics and Mystics played out a stunning extended extra-time thriller in round 4, with the Tactics claiming a momentous 80-78 victory. But this time, the Mystics were at home looking for their second win of the season, while the Tactics were coming off the bye. It was a steady opening by both sides before 6 unanswered Tactics goals saw the visitors jump out to an early 8-2 advantage. The Mystics briefly stemmed the Tactics' flow, but the visitors were on fire, with Sophia Fenwick at one end slotting shots from everywhere and Jane Watson at the other, causing headaches for the Mystics' attack. Ruth Aitken swung the changes at quarter time, with Julie Coletto and Kayla Cullen swapping positions, and Elizabeta Toiava entering the game at wing attack, shifting Grace Rasmussen to centre. The changes made an immediate impact, with the Mystics reeling off 5 unanswered goals in the second quarter before the Tactics regained their composure and entered the halftime break with a handy 5-goal advantage. The visitors led by as many as 15 goals in the third quarter, but the Mystics, led by some great defensive pressure, pulled the margin back to 9 goals at the last change. The Mystics put the Tactics under pressure in the final quarter, but it was the visitors who, despite losing the fourth quarter, won the match 61-47, their second win of the season.
It was probably pretty messy and pretty ugly to watch, but real character to hold on. They came back at us, but we managed to keep that lead, which is something we haven't done throughout the competition, so really, really pleased.
The top-of-the-table Adelaide Thunderbirds took on the defending champions Waikato Bay of Plenty Magic in Adelaide in the final match of round 7. The Magic was impressive early as they shot out to a 9-2 advantage over the home side. Irene van Dijk was dominant in the opening quarter with 10 from 10, but the Thunderbirds charged back with 4 of the last 5 goals to trail by just 1 at quarter time. It was another tightly contested quarter in the second, as the defensive pressure by both sides forced a flurry of errors, but it was the Thunderbirds who held a narrow 22-20 halftime advantage. The home side turned the screws in the third quarter, with Shani Layton unstoppable as Van Dijk was held to just 1 shot for the quarter, and the Magic were outscored 13-6. Van Dijk saw some rare time on the sidelines in the final stanza, and the Thunderbirds took full advantage. The home side outscored the 2012 champions 10-7 in the fourth quarter to claim their 6th win of the season, 45-33.
The girls built into the game. I thought we struggled early. Obviously, Magic got out to a good lead, but yeah, we stuck to our guns and they played really well.
The Southern Steel hosted the New South Wales Swifts in Invercargill in a crucial match for both sides to keep their finals hopes alive. The opening 15 minutes was dominated by the visitors as the Swifts jumped out to an early advantage, holding a 1-goal lead at quarter time. Sonia McCloma was doing a superb job in defence for the Swifts, restricting the supply to Janelle Fowler. The home side fought back in the second quarter, finding greater access to Fowler through Jodie Brown, who was feeding ball from everywhere. The Steel held a 32-30 ascendancy at the half, and they soon pulled further ahead to lead 39-33 early in the third period. The Swifts reeled the margin back to trail by just 4 goals at the last change, and the match was in the balance entering the final quarter. It was an intriguing final 15 minutes, but in the end the difference was Fowler, who shot 59 of the Steel's 60 goals, helping her side to an important 60-55 victory.
So this is the first back-to-back win that Steel have had since 2011, so we're just building in confidence and we know that we can get even better, which is pretty scary.
That closes out another busy round of ANZ Championship action, with the Thunderbirds maintaining top spot and the Tactics recording their second win of the season over the Mystics.